First, let's talk about what the strings are. If we're counting from the top to the bottom, it's the sixth string. The low E string is called the sixth string. Fifth, fourth, third, second, first. If we're talking letters, E, A, D, G, B, E. Now we have to talk about the musical alphabet for a second. It's just A through G and then starts over. So what comes after G? A. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. It's a good idea to learn to say that backwards too. G, F, E, D, C, B, A, G, F, E, D, C, B, A. If you practice saying that backwards, it actually really helps with music. Let's take the low E string. It starts on an E. What does that mean? That means that the open string is an E note. Okay, so the sound is generated from the nut right there. The nut is actually a fret. It's a 0 fret. I like to call it the 0 fret because it's the one before the first fret. If I go from the 0 fret to the first fret, how far have I gone? That is the distance of 1/2 step. Okay, so what is a half step? A half step is the distance of 1 fret. Half step is the distance of 1 fret. A full step is the distance of 2 frets. A whole step or full step, you can call it either way. Half step, whole step. That's kind of important, especially when you're learning the neck. Because why? There are 2 sets of notes that are a half step apart. E to F or B to C. Okay, so let's just take the low E string, and I'm going to go from E to the next letter, which is F. That is the distance of a half step. Okay, now after F comes what? G, right? Musical alphabet. So I'm going to move up a whole step, right? Because that's not E to F or B to C. Then from G, I'm going to travel to what letter? A, right? And it's not a half step, so I'm going to go 2 frets. It's a whole step. A. Now, A is followed by B, a whole step higher, right? B and C are a half step apart, so I'm going to the 8th fret now. And then C to D is a whole step, and D to E is a whole step. So E, as you may notice, is the note we started on. And when we arrive at the 12th fret, notice that there are 2 dots. And that is just basically telling us that we're starting over again. The 12th fret also tells us that we've traveled 1 octave. Okay, so what is an octave? An octave is the distance from any note to itself. So we started on an E and we traveled to an E. So why is it called an octave? Because oct means 8, right? And we have gone 7 letters plus 1 letter. So we've gone to the 8th letter, which is the same as the first letter. That's called an octave. E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E. That's how many letters? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Okay, so we've gone a full octave. Let's try counting backwards then. So we're going to go E, D, C, half step to B, A, G, F, and it's a half step to E. Okay, so let's try going up and down the string. E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E. Now coming back down. E, D, C, B, A, G, F, E. Let's look at the 5th string. The 5th string is called what? A. A. So this is easy because we're just going to play the alphabet starting on A. So A is the open string. Now guess where the next note is? We want to go a whole step, right? It's not a half step from A to B. So we're going to go A, B, half step to C, D, E, half step to F, G, what comes after G? A. So let's see. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. So we've just traveled one octave from A to A. Now we're going to take the A string and come back down. So A, G, F, half step to E, D, C, B, A. So we're going to go D, E, right? It's a whole step. Followed by what? F, which is a half step. G, A, B, half step to C, and then D. Okay, now starting on D, we're going to come back down the other direction. So D, C, B, A, G, F, E, D. So we're going to start on the third string, which is called G. So G followed by A, right? It is a whole step, correct? And then after A comes B. It's a half step to C, whole step to D, whole step to E, half step to F, and then G is a whole step. And now we've got a full octave. So G, F, half step to E, D, C, half step to B, A, G. Okay, let's do the second string. The second string is a B. Okay, so B is the open string. We're going to C, which is a half step, so that means we're going to travel one fret, so we'll be on the first fret. Whole step to D, whole step to E, another half step to F, then we have G, next letter is A, whole step to B on the 12th fret. Now we've got a full octave. Let's just do it again. So B, half step to C, D, E, half step to F, G is a whole step, A is a whole step, B. Okay, now let's do it in reverse. So B, whole step to A, whole step to G, whole step to F, half step to E, D is a whole step, C, and a half step to B. Let's try the E string, the high E. I know we've done it before, but just a little review on the high E. So we're going to go E, half step to F, G, A, B, half step to C, D, and then E. So we're going to turn around, come back now. So we're going to go E, D, C, half step to B, A, G, F, and it's a half step to E. We've now done all the natural notes on the neck. So why did I say they're natural notes? Because anytime you travel a whole step, well, we're actually skipping a note in there. Let's just say if I'm going from F to G, there's a note in between that's called F sharp or G flat. So it's one higher than F and one lower than G. Okay, so what we have just learned is all the natural notes on the neck. And I don't know if you play any piano, but if you did, and you looked at all the white keys on the piano, they're all in the key of C, which means they're all natural notes. Okay, and you have black keys that are the sharps and flats in between. Let's go to the fourth string. Let's see, I want you to find a B note on that string. Okay, if you're done pausing and if you're done finding that note, you should have found the 9th fret, because we're going D, E, half step to F, G, followed by A, and it's a whole step to B. We're now on the 9th fret. The quick way to count to that is to know that, okay, well, if it's a D, if you're good at counting backwards, like I said, is an important thing. So D, C, B. Let's try a couple more. Let's say we're going to be playing on the 2nd string, and I want you to find an F sharp. Okay? So pause. Okay, so the F sharp it's on the 7th fret, because look, B is the 2nd string. We're going a half step to C, D, E. It's a half step to F, but we want to go one further because it's F sharp. So again, G is here, F is here. This note is called F sharp or G flat. Let's try another one. A string, the 5th string. I want to have you find a E note. Okay, so to find an E note, we're going to go A, whole step to B, half step to C, D, E. So E is on the 7th fret. A great exercise for getting to know the neck is just each day take 5 minutes on one string and just play on that string using natural notes only. For example, okay, so today when I pick up my guitar, I'm going to just look at the clock and go, okay, 5 minutes from now I'll go on to something else. But for right now, I'm just going to go D, E, half step to F, G, whole step to A, B, half step to C, and then D. And what I'm going to do is play with that. I mean, after all, what we're doing is called playing the guitar, and it's called that because we play with the notes, and that's how songs are written. That's how people develop a style of lead playing or whatever. So we're going to go D, C, B, A, B, C, D, and you don't actually have to say them, but it's a good idea to do that. Another thing you want to take notice of is on each string we have 2 sets of half steps, and you want to find those half steps. I'm saying we have 2 sets of half steps between the nut, which is the open string, and the 12th fret on any given string. So if I take that 4th string, we have a half step from E to F, we have a half step from B to C, and so first thing I want to take note of is, well, after I count up and down the string, I'm going to take note of where those half steps are and kind of focus on those positions, because everything else is a whole step. So if you get to know where the half steps are, you automatically know where the whole steps are.